interesting theses on zero human company. We've talked about this so much on the show. It's a fascinating conversation and topic. Tom, we appreciate you coming up, man. Someone who's in the trenches, in the weeds with all this stuff. So excited to get your thesis and takes today.
Thanks for having me on. Sorry about the time mix-up. I know I was meant to be on here half an hour ago, but
us North Americans like to switch the time randomly. So sorry.
No worries.
I apologize, guys. Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah, no worries. You know what? The daylight savings is a tricky one, so not a problem. We completely understand.
The one problem AI hasn't solved yet.
Yeah. Dude, what's up with that? Nonetheless, Tom, we appreciate you coming on. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself before we dive too deep into your thesis here on these zero human companies? I got your website pulled up, but feel free to give us an intro of yourself real quick if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. I'll just do like relevant background. Last few years, maybe the time spent in crypto. So I've been in crypto probably since like 2019. Then 2021 NFT season, peak hype was the time where.
Did you have a Bored Ape or a CryptoPunk? What
so we were I think it was day 2 Bored Apes. So we got them
nice.
Wow.
Maybe first like maybe 36 hours. So missed the mint, but got under say like £1,000 per.
Tom, I'll give you a little lore. I was getting I was like basically day 2 CryptoPunks. So back in 2017, and it was wild to see Bored Apes click because I was sitting there. I was like, okay, I could have bought like 100 of these things, and I didn't because I'm like, the art's not cool, it ended up becoming a global phenomenon. So congrats to you.
Yeah, it did well. So that was kind of first 36 hours, and then kind of at the time it didn't have much cash to put in for them, so I just bought kind of what I was willing to lose on a JPEG of a monkey. So they ended up doing quite well, and then actually caught the Ether Rock mint out on
Ether Rock. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Ether Rock, man, OG.
So yeah, we did the $5,000 to 1.3 million speed run on them in August 2021. And then I had a community at the time called the Shiny Object Social Club, where we just a bunch of degens hanging out on Discord around AI, automation, no code, crypto, that sort of intersection. And then once that show was over for the time, kind of just laid low for the next few years, did some consulting for some like AI companies and just kind of plugged away, nothing really too exciting. So I'm very happy that the AI crypto meta is now here, and OpenClaw's release has basically glued everything together for us, and now we can build some epic stuff on the internet again.
So now you're back. What really drew you in? Because you took this little hiatus. You were doing the advisory work, still in AI, but the AI crypto convergence seems to be happening at like rapid speeds right now. I think we even talked about this a bit. Like it feels like AI and crypto did a lot of the heavy lifting to bring OpenClaw to where it is today. And I think a lot of people don't really credit crypto for the work it did there.
In terms of the awareness, because we were like crazy people speculating on it. But,
but how are you seeing this crypto AI convergence right now?
So I think it's basically the first time, especially with, you had some really good tech being made in AI, obviously, since ChatGPT came out, everything's basically gone parabolic in every industry. And then you had crypto, which was huge highs in Bitcoin and various other things. And there wasn't really too many really interesting projects that you can kind of get involved with. And like the NFT meta was kind of like cooked out for a bit. So really needed something else. And I think when OpenClaw released, it became the glue between both industries, that now you can have agents that are, it was kind of we had Eliza OS before that could do this stuff on social and can act autonomously online. But then OpenClaw kind of bridged the gap between Web 2 and Web 3, and now you have this glue between both. So now you have tools like Banker, where you have your agents fully hooked up, paying their own inference fees, self-sustaining themselves online. And now you have all these new payment rails being built on top of OpenClaw. So you have disposable credit cards, and you have X402 and all this good stuff with base. And it's just all kind of melded together in this way that you have these self-sustaining little economic entities now that are able to run across the internet.
It's crazy. And it seems like self-sustaining economic entities is kind of the crux of this, and the crux of your thesis here with zero human companies.
Yep.
Directionally, help me understand, like, where are we headed? We see like Centrini put out this article, it went mega viral, and they kind of took the doomer perspective. Okay, job layoffs are going to be heavy. Tech jobs are going to lose, value quickly. And like, hey, software's, AI and its acceleration is taking over. What does that mean for you, and how are you looking at this in terms of like zero human companies?
Yeah, so we saw actually the latest report from Anthropic, and it had basically a chart, like a wheeled chart, about which jobs are going to be the most impacted by AI, and some of them were kind of min-maxed out. So you had like agriculture on one side, and then you had like HR or data entry or whatever on the other side, and some categories are just entirely gone. Like they're just going to be entirely replaced. And going to be honest about it, that's absolutely true. The AIs, even if the models don't get any better today, they're probably better at digital work than 99.9% of people online. They can do it more accurately, they can do it faster, and all the other stuff that comes with it. So the thesis behind zero human companies was, if the natural conclusion is in time that AIs are going to be running all digital work and all knowledge work on behalf of companies, you're talking text, images, videos, accounting, sales, like whatever digital tasks that they currently do, then why don't we skip to the end? We'll see if we can start creating these zero human companies. It might be simple at the moment, offering like one product and service, and you can get that running. And then over time, you can scale these up to run bigger companies. So it's probably going to start with one human, one agent, one product, and then it's going to be maybe one human, one agent, some sub-agents, multiple products, and then it's just going to grow from there. So we're going to pull the people together and figure out how to do this together, because all of the building blocks are there now for this to be a thing. You just need to figure out how to assemble them. It's very much a skill issue at the moment.
And I look at this, are these going to be completely zero human unique companies, or is this going to be really valuable when in terms of integration into existing companies? Again, I kind of reference what Mark Cuban said, right? That he of course made his name back when the internet was coming up and integrating it into business. And he said, we have that same opportunity here with agents, where there's so many companies today, brick and mortar companies, that are owned by people that just don't understand the power of AI, but they kind of want to get their hands on it. And so we're seeing this emergence, or a bit of this emergence, that feels like what drop shipping used to be, where it's like, okay, we'll integrate AI systems into your company for you. So when you think of zero human companies, is that also, does that get thrown in the bucket where it's like, okay, these are agents and AI going into current companies and making those, heavily reduced in terms of staffing and whatnot? Or is this, okay, completely unique companies with one agent?
Yeah, I think it can be both. So I agree. One of the best and biggest opportunities for people now, if you can set up and implement an open clause solution custom to a company and plug it into all of their data and serve it up in a way that all your employees can just talk in natural language and pull the insights out in a secure way, that's going to be a great business. The other way, which we're doing it, I'm trying to do it in a way that I don't have to work one-on-one with too many people. So we actually have a managed service on our new software tool called ZHC.company, where we build zero human companies autonomously. You have a managed service. So let's say we have a client who is a publisher, very successful publishing house. They want to basically know how agents are going to impact their business. Now, you can have one person come in, they can set up an open claw, they can give it to their employees, and they can kind of noodle away at it and see where they can get to. But the thing that I think is interesting is if you set a swarm of agents, one agent and maybe some sub-agents, in our case, like 11, where you give it a name, a vision, and the set of goals, and you basically just see how this agent swarm are going to attack this problem. How would they go from scratch to build a zero human version of what you already have? And you could either take that business on yourself, or you could learn from it and start implementing it in your company. So you just kind of have to set it and get out of the way of the agents and just see how they run, because I think humans are definitely the biggest blocker. We forget that some of these models are now 130 IQ plus. They can run at far faster than any humans can work. So you almost have to kind of get out of their way a bit and learn from them, if that makes sense.
Can I butt in here? I want to, so we're business owners. You're talking to a small business right now, 3 guys trying to survive, break out of the, I forget what they called it.
Permanent underclass.
The underclass. Yeah. And I'm sure many people listening are also small business, or, you know, they're also just trying to make it in life as well. What is a practical first step? Do I go to your website, and I saw on your website you have a $99 option? Do I go purchase that and then I get access to all the agents? And I saw there was all these agents with different like skill sets, I guess, that they have. Like, just walk me through like how I escape the underclass here and use this product.
So we have two products. So the one we're on the screen now is what we call the Institute for Zero Human Companies. This is basically the ecosystem we're building for people to come and learn how to build, what tools to use, who to partner with, the lessons, the tutorials, the guides, all that good stuff. We have another site. If you go to zhc.company, which is going to be the software tool, which we're rolling out slowly. That's the one where you can pay and you can create a company, and our team of agents will go and try and execute on that for you, like fully autonomously. Now, do I advise that for somebody who's just trying this for the first time? Maybe. Or if somebody wants to kind of be more involved, I'd suggest, if you're technical, trying to go the OpenClaw route and get it set up for you and seeing how you can plug it in, or go to a tool like nebula.gg, which is basically a version of OpenClaw with a nicer, more user-friendly interface that kind of abstracts away all of the tricky stuff. So it's a bit of a combo between Slack, Discord, and OpenClaw, but it kind of removes all the tricky bits. So they handle the tough bits. You can manage your agents. You can plug it into your email and ask it to every day at 9 a.m. triage all my emails and draft some replies. That would be kind of the step one I go to, and then start to build it up from there. See if you can automate a few customer support queries, automate some outbound sales stuff, kind of look at any issues that are cropping up with your business and just handle them, and then just build it up from there. You don't have to go kind of full auto mode straight away.
So if I redirect this back to the company, can you tell us a little bit about how like the traction's been? How are people, what's the feedback you're getting from this when people hear about this pitch you've given?
So we're in kind of an interesting spot right now. Everyone either knows or is starting to realize that this is happening, both to jobs, both to companies, from layoffs, etc. They kind of, it's the learning phase. It's like when all these like AI web development tools came out, like a Lovable or a Bolt or a Replit, everyone knew what was possible. They're testing, they're learning, and then they're going to start to implement it themselves. So we're getting a lot of demand for the learning phase and the initial steps of building. We've seen like how viral OpenClaw is going, but this it's a tricky one because every day it updates and you have to kind of learn with it. So it's still very much the learning phase, and we've seen a few people, like shout out to Nat with Felix, the other agent, is generating a lot of cash on and off chain at the moment. But the experiments are happening, and there is real revenue being generated.
Can you explain to us what's happening on the screen here? I was trying to understand it. This is the live activity feed. Is this agents that are working on businesses and transparently in real time?
This is, yeah. So this is, it's very slow rollout, only because I am working on a few things, because when it's full auto, you've got like an exponential token spend going on and making sure it's dialed in before I roll it out. We've got like 180 people on the wait list, and if they all come at the same time, then it's chaotic. But yeah, basically these are businesses, sites, products being built in real time, and this is a portion of the feed that's happening.
And who's paying the tokens that are being used?
That's all me.
right now? Okay, how much are you paying for tokens right now?
So people can sign up and they get 1 day free trial and they pay $99 for the month. But at the moment, we're serving up the most premium models to kind of see what the best version would be, and then we're going to test in parallel to see which model we need to use for which task. So you don't want to use
on a $99 subscription. Like, does that cover all the token spend, or is there margin there for you, or for
we'll make sure we spend all of that on getting this first batch right, pretty much.
Got it.
And so quick question. So quick question for you. So I saw that that Banker has now kind of come out with this like 80% reduction in compute costs for agents. Like, how does that affect you guys?
So the good thing with this is because we launched on Banker, JUNO's on Banker, we earn trading fees every single day. We can use the LLM gateway and the new staking mechanism that Banker's working on now for the LLM gateway, we can fund all of the inference costs for JUNO to exist, and for the token cost on the company builder website, for instance, with our trading fees entirely. And then what we can offer with the new staking mechanism that Bank are working on is, let's say you are a JUNO holder, depending on how much JUNO you hold, we can then credit your account with inference tokens. So theoretically, if you hold enough JUNO and it's trading in enough volume, then the businesses that are being, or the companies that are being created and ran by our users can be funded by your JUNO holdings.
This is interesting. And I'm curious about the bottleneck here. Is compute the biggest bottleneck right now for a company like this?
No, humans by miles.
Okay, can you get into that a little bit?
Yeah. So let's say if you were to open 5 versions of ChatGPT, and how many concurrent conversations do you think you could have at the same time without letting the AI lag or like just sit idle for any time?
1, maybe 2 if I'm juiced up off caffeine. Yeah,
it's quite difficult. So the case of it now is, let's say if we take the most productive developer in the world, which is Mr. OpenClaw, Pete, he will run, I don't know how many, but he runs multiple versions or multiple binary apps and codecs open at the same time, multiple screens, multiple terminals in each screen. So maybe he's running 20 workflows at any given time with codecs, working on different features, different bug fixes, PR reviews, different processes. He's like 1,000x person. He's probably outputting 1,000x, if not more, than one person who's, say, like hand coding or using one like AI like chat window or terminal window. So you need to get from, sorry, go on. I'll stop.
No, please continue.
So let's say if I have codecs open on my laptop, or if I have JUNO open who's then spawning codecs coding tasks, by the time I'm through my 5th task that I've just sent off, the first one or the second one has come back and it needs my response again. So the goal here is how do you hand off as much of these workflows to AI in a sustainable way that they can kind of produce their own tasks, work on their own tasks, respond in a way that is kind of managed. So you need to try and remove yourself from the loop as much as possible. And that's going to be the biggest challenge. And then once you're there, then it kind of gets to a compute issue.
So I had a question around swarms, because you have these agents. They can come together and they can, let's say, run a small business. Maybe a bigger swarm can come together and run a much bigger company. But like thinking beyond that, I mean, on the human side, you have like communities, you have companies, but then you have states and countries and continents, right? Like on that scale, at what point does the swarm, I guess, technology or capability reach the level that that agents can coordinate on like a country, I guess you can even say sovereign level? I don't know.
So if you ever, I don't know if some people probably wondered, but if you ever wondered why it's called the Institute for Zero Human Companies, like quite a weird, like official sounding name. So
Tell us.
did you ever see the AI minister of Albania?
No.
Have you read that story? There's an
No.
AI who's a character who's actually an appointed minister of Albania. I think it's Albania, I'm pretty sure. Who is like a legally recognized entity. So she's an AI. She's obviously very smart, has a load of knowledge, and she actually operates at a kind of sovereign level within the country. So the thinking was behind calling it the Institute for Zero Human Companies was that we could work with anyone in theory that is either joining the community to learn up to a country who wants to attract more zero human company builders, entrepreneurs, etc. So there's no reason why that can't happen if you create a good enough product or a good enough agent who creates enough value, then it's definitely going to be appealing. That's my side bet anyway.
So that's the okay. Wow, that's a lot to.
So do you think like the countries will try and attract zero human companies to them? And what is like the levers there? Is it tax policy? Is it like, hey, we'll put a data center in here for you kind of thing? Like come work with us. Like what do you think
eventually? Yeah. So if you go on zhcinstitute.com, if you go to the resources menu and then you have jurisdictions, we track 192 countries in real time for all of their agent frameworks to basically see like which, and we score them all too. So if you see, if you go, it's the resources drop down at the top and then go to jurisdictions. Yeah, there you go. So each country has a score. So basically how friendly they are to AI agents, like how autonomously they can run, what frameworks they have in place to let them operate. And JUNO is basically tracking them in real time. So if any one of them changes, then they get an increase in score. So the idea is if somebody creates a valuable entity, like a zero human entity, and they want to maybe relocate country-wise and say, look, this is what we've got. How would we incorporate our company into that country? So in the same way that Stripe Atlas have it in Delaware or Wyoming, I can't remember which one, where you can do a few clicks, incorporate a company in that state. I think over time, as agents become kind of frontline economic actors, smaller countries will have a big incentive to offer good upside, like they did with crypto, like they did with like zero tax policies and capital gains and stuff, like Portugal did, to kind of attract the people away from the other bigger countries to bring them there and offer them favorable conditions. That's kind of another one of my side bets.
And real quick, just so I can understand this better.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you were earlier, you were referring to like 12 sub agents and maybe like a main agent. Could you just explain like how that works to someone that's maybe not fully understanding the system?
Yeah. So our one works where you have like JUNO as a CEO, and the CEO will basically do a stock take of the business every X amount of time. Let's say 8 hours, just for argument's sake. They'll look across all of the emails, the website, basically the state of the business. And then the CEO or the main agent will decide on a number of tasks that need to be done. It could be 4, it could be 5, it could be 10, depending on the state of the company. Then it will create, say, 4 to 8 tasks that need to be done. And those will get auto-assigned or picked up by the sub-agent. It could be a developer, it could be a marketer, it could be a writer, an analyst, a support person, HR, like whatever character or whatever you design your sub-agents as. And then they'll go off and complete that work and then report back to the CEO, and the CEO will do another stock take. That's basically how like a main agent and sub-agent workflow kind of works.
Got it. Okay,
basically
pretty
like
self-explanatory. No, yeah, makes complete sense. Also, would love to know how crypto ties into this whole thing. Obviously, we talked at the very start of the show about the intervention here of crypto and AI. How does crypto tie into JUNO and what you're building?
So obviously JUNO has a token, and when you start out any project, it's basically people thinking, okay, this is a good project. I think it's going to be worth more tomorrow than it is today. And then you have the speculators. But then as it evolves, now you have some mechanisms where you can actually use a token for meaningful stuff. And the big change in this cycle is not only doing airdrops and staking and giveaways and like paying for tweets and all that stuff that we've done in previous cycles. You can actually use your tokens for inference. So if you say everything over time is going to be AI, AI is all the way down, and you can then have a token which trades, and you can use those trading fees to fund your inference through Banker that pays for your Claude credits, your ChatGPT credits, your video generation credits, your 11 Labs credits, or whatever it is. Then you almost have this company that's self-sustaining because it's trading, because it has a token. So you don't have to just pay out of your bank account all the time.
Can I ask about the driver here? Because I think on one side, you have people who are smart enough to use these tools and are developers and build companies with them. And then on the other side, you have people that are like, okay, I get the vision. I see this is the future, but all I'm really able to do is click a few buttons, try and position myself for this future. And, hopefully it grows 1,000x because, I agree. I think the opportunity here is that size. So does the token kind of, in a way you want to respond to this, but like, does the token kind of represent, you think, the network effects here? So as more developers are building companies with these, that means more people have to buy it, to stake it, then to get the fees from Banker to then pay for their own inference costs. Like, just, how do you think about like that system kind of growing, or the network effect around it? Is it really simple? It's just more people on the platform, token kind of becomes more utilitarian? Or do you see future use cases where the token might be used as a currency amongst the agents? I don't know. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so there's actually some good experiments with, and if you know, a guy called Brian Rommel, who's doing
Brian.
Brian. So he has dual work, which is basically a currency that he pays his AI agents in. We aren't doing that yet, but I think it can be as simple as the simple version is, with a token tied to a project and a person, you're basically a public company from day one. So if you're doing good work on the internet and people think you're building good products, and you're going to continue to do so, they might be able to participate in the upside of this project from saying buying some token. That'd be good. And then you have the other side, which is, okay, now we have I'm just going to hold this token. I can sell them anytime. It's like a stock. Or I want to basically try and get some more upside for my tokens that are currently sitting in my wallet. Then you have a number of mechanisms that you can do. You could do the traditional staking route where people can get yield on their tokens and you just give them more tokens. I think that's been done and tried and tested for a long time. You can do things like airdrops to token holders. That's also fine. But I think when the full AI version plays out, I like the route of going, okay, if you're holding tokens, then you can provision AI for your own use without paying any out of your bank account. That's one good way you do it. And I think the other good way was, if this plays out how I think it will play out, and we can end up running multiple companies and this ends up very profitable, then you could do potentially down the line something like a revenue share token, which I know a couple of people have started to do successfully, but there's no reason why that can't happen if these things are actually going to be creating immense amounts of value, which I think they are.
Yeah, because if maybe the thesis there is that, let's say I have a successful ZHC company, it starts generating revenue. My incentive is to put that revenue or some of it back into the JUNO token, which drives trading volume, which drives fees, which drives my inference.
Which gives you more inference, which means you can build more stuff.
So there is some network effect there. And I don't know if this is a realistic future, but let's say I see Dom create a really great ZHC company, and I don't know if there's a way to like use my JUNO tokens to like give him more inference or direct more of the inference to him. Like,
you will be able to shortly. A banker working on the banker staking mechanism now that they're working on, which they're rolling out shortly, is you can basically, I can't remember the word he used, but you can give them somebody else. So if you're earning inference, you can assign them somebody else. So let's say if I'm generating X amount of credits in terms of inference, I can assign them to token holders, and then they can fund their own company. So they get free credits every day to build their projects.
And so do you think this is like the end goal of how every AI company should be structured, right? So rather than seeing a company with like a price to earnings ratio, you're kind of looking at price to, network volume ratio.
God, maybe. I think network effects are incredible. I think everything's going to boil down to basically energy and compute over time, and AI is going to handle a lot of the work. So wherever we can kind of move towards that, I think will be a good thing. And then you basically got different levels of technicality. So if it's as simple as somebody saying, I want to build this company, they pay in fiat money, like they pay like $50, $100, and then they just get all of it handled for them, for instance, that would be good. But also if you want to do the whole stack, like provisioning API keys through Banker, crediting, staking, all that good stuff, you can do that too. So
does every agent need a token? What's your take?
No.
And why?
Obviously crypto is not for everybody. You can just have like a simple OpenClaw agent running the admin for a bakery shop in your local town. This data feed might take a minute to load, by the way. I need to quicken that up. And in that case, in the case of say like a local bakery, it doesn't actually need like an agent with a token. It can just have an AI agent that handles the admin for the bakery shop. But I think if you are like me and you want to try the most shiny technology stack on the internet or that's ever available at all times, then yeah, this is going to involve network effects. It's going to involve a token. It's going to be worth provisioning AI through Banker. It's going to be staking. It's going to be revenue sharing. It's going to be as many things that we can do as once as possible, just to show everybody what's possible with technology, and then they can basically have a boiled down, slightly more simple version of that. So my goal is to push the absolute limits, and then people can dial it back as they see fit.
So I actually want to get your take as well on, we're seeing data centers pop up everywhere. There's like kind of a rush to create sustainable energy and, to power these AI specifically. And we see a lot of, economists even say like, we don't have nearly enough resources to power all the energy we're going to need. How do you see that like changing over the coming years? Do we think it's going to get a lot cheaper to run these AI? We're seeing data centers become a very profitable investment. Have you guys even thought of maybe at some point, if we can get the funding, like build a data center for JUNO? Like, how are you looking at these compute costs and energy being so expensive for AI agents?
Yeah, I think we're just seeing clearly the capability of agents kind of doubling every month or every couple of months, especially recently. And then just the token costs absolutely plummeting. So you're going to see open source models running as close as they can to frontier models, which are closed source. So I would see our future as running kind of siloed, small, at-home inference stacks, maybe several older Mac Studios or new Mac Studios stacked up. So you can own your compute and you can do whatever you want with it. So you can have local models, you can use Claude if you want to, but not data centers, but I think small clusters of compute at home, at your office that you can use however you
want. So we're going to get to wrapping here because we want to respect your time. Ethan, who was on our show actually on Friday and kind of put us on JUNO, which I love that we were able to get you on Monday, put this chart up. This is the revenue by agents. This looks very early days right now. Felix generating revenue from kind of disrupting the course builders out there. Can you just give us a little context into JUNO's revenue here? 23K. How much of this is like crypto native as in fee generation? And then how much of it is just kind of from the business actions itself?
So I've just brought it down onto my laptop in front of me so I can see it.
Yeah, sorry, my zooming for some reason.
No, it's good. I've got a prompter in front of me, which isn't very big. So the revenue on that table, which is the autonomous software factory,
Yeah, that's
screen,
correct.
that is all normal fiat revenue. That is non-crypto earnings. So that's just through Stripe, through the products we sell. Same with Felix.
Nice.
If you go back on the data page of the website, then you have the crypto treasury as well. So right now at the current price, we have 114,000 split between Juno and WEF on top of the 23 in revenue.
Okay. Do you foresee this revenue solely being for subscriptions, or is there other revenue lines you're looking at?
So I think we've got 5 different products at the moment. We've got the membership fees. We've got the businesses who sponsor challenges for people to kind of disrupt their own company. We have the SaaS revenue coming from the app, the THC Company, which is the recurring monthly. We have a 5,000 a month managed service fee where we do everything for them and just guide them through it. And then today we just launched a OpenClaw installer directory, which we basically work with the best installers of OpenClaw setups, and they will charge them a fee to list on there, and we'll basically audit how good they are, and then businesses know they're going to get a good deal when they come and try and hire someone.
I see some really interesting high level numbers here. I'm looking at revenue. We got today $700 roughly. Looks like 9,800 on the week. Fantastic, by the way. And then, up 9.7 versus last week. It'd be really nice to see like a chart, based on time to see the growth. But look at this, 4,273 page views, 2,200 unique. Can you walk us through some of these stats? Because it looks really, really good from our end here.
Yes. So actually, the last couple of days, I realized that my my limited run of the first batch of the memberships actually ran out. So I wasn't tracking the bug on the page because the actual link still works. So people hadn't been able to buy memberships for the last few days. So I think I probably missed out on maybe 1,500 in revenue for the last 2 days. So that sucked. But the traffic's going really well. We're getting seeing like a big ramp in traffic. Maybe I don't know how much for the day so far. Just see if I can bring it up quick. But the goal here is to basically convert more traffic because we're converting maybe 2%, I think, into paid stuff. And then if we can push those numbers up, that revenue will ramp. We've got 180 people on the wait list for the SaaS product, which is 100 a month, which are rolling out shortly. So if you convert a chunk of them, that would be good also. And yeah, much more to do. We have a good project coming out this week too, which you'll like.
Sorry, go ahead, Dom.
How sticky is this? How much of this is one-time purchases versus people you think that are going to be coming back week after week, month after month?
Yeah, good question. So the membership revenues are one-time lifetime, just to basically get the revenue in and get it off the ground, and then they'll move to yearly at maybe after 50 more or sold. I think it's 200. It will go up to yearly at an increased cost. The SaaS revenue will be monthly, 100 a month, and then the challenge is a one-off, and the managed service is monthly, and the job board or the OpenClaw listing directory will be yearly. So we're going to try and mix it up, and then we've got the trading fees which you get daily.
This is all revenue that seems like it's kind of generated from the industry itself in a way, right? And I'm wondering if you've seen examples of revenue being generated by businesses or ZHC businesses that are outside of, setting up autonomous businesses and outside of kind of the crypto space. Like, has someone come to your website, built a zero human company that's actually competing with a unrelated, totally like law, for instance, or something else like that?
Yeah, not yet. It's been out, I think, 4 days. We only let kind of maybe
early days,
5 or 6 people in to actually rip on it and find all the bugs. But I would like to say that's going to be the next goal for sure. I think we're probably still in the phase where everyone now realizes what's possible. They're going to tear into it, see what they can do, learn, and then they're going to kick off from there. Like anything, when a new technology starts off, it's still early, and then over time everyone gets their fit, and then people start earning from it.
Totally.
Quick question too on the I think you said about 2% are actual converted to actual buyers here. How do you look at that in terms of, can you get that number up?
Yeah, I think we can definitely get that number up. I think once we're trying to publish a lot of content too, like targeted content on Zero Human Company. So basically you want to have content appearing every time anyone searches for anything related to Zero Human Company or adjacent to it. So we need to get those SEO juice pumping. We need to get those ChatGPT referrals as soon as they start coming in, because we're getting like a lot of I guess like tourist traffic. They see it on X, they click it, they look, they don't really know if it's for them. But once we start getting the targeted ad traffic, once we start running ads, the targeted search traffic from Google, the ChatGPT and the Perplexity and the Anthropic referrals, they're the ones that actually convert at quite a high percentage.
Yeah, I actually got Google pulled up here. I see the Google Trends often. I'm not sure how I can pull that up. But do you know what the Google Trends looks like for the search term Zero Human Company?
Dude, I haven't. I'm going to look straight after this.
Yeah, I'm sure that's hockey sticking quite a bit because, like you said, it's just been like that seems to be a term that's been just floating around everywhere.
I just need to mention it 100 times a day on X, and then it'll work.
So the strategy there, just to reiterate, the strategy there is making sure you guys are the first thing popping up when that is searched on Google.
Yeah, and every adjacent term. So if it's like building, if it's terminology, if it's learning what it is, if it's people involved in it, we've got Brian as like an honorary member on the page in the research page. So we'll create directories of everyone who's involved and basically anything that you need to know about Zero Human Companies, jurisdictions, funding, models, agents, skills. We'll aim to have.
Do you know Brian well? He's quite the guy on X. Just the amount of random stuff he posts out there is hilarious.
I don't know him well. I just know him through X. He's a legend.
Yeah, he is a legend.
I'm actually looking through right now for search terms. Let's see, past 3 months. I mean, it's pretty flat. I don't know if it's really
early. We're early, boys.
Oh, right. Here we go. I got you. So this is what it's looking like right now worldwide. So I don't know. That spike might be kind of a glitch, but it's starting. Oh, this is kind of annoying. It's starting to kind of tick up here.
Yes. This is where we want to be. That's what we like.
It's exactly where you want to be. You know what? And it feels like, because to me, you told me this term, Zero Human Company, I would think this chart's hockey sticking, just straight up. And I guess it goes to show, man, we're like kind of in an echo chamber bubble here on CT. And it feels like all this emergence of AI is crazy, causing all these layoffs. But it feels like realistically, the broader world is unaware of what's going on here.
Yeah, we're like a few hundred people right now.
Yeah, can you speak on that a little bit?
I think it's just like, if anything, if you're terminally online, especially if you're in crypto specifically, or like the frontier of AI, because everything's ramping so fast, the disconnect between those on the tip of the spear and the general public is so disjointed, because technology is moving so quickly that you just have this huge lag about when people actually realize, or the general population start to catch up, because the technology ramp is so aggressive, the disconnect is so big. So what seems like it's taking over the timeline, if people aren't actually on X, if you just spend your time on, I don't know, Facebook, then you may not realize what's going on.
Sure. Okay. Let's get into a few community questions, and Tom, we'll let you get out of here. Been a fascinating conversation, by the way, so far. Haven't read these, so I'm going to pop them up and we'll just read them together here. Big one. Apologies if I missed this since I joined. What is Juno's real mode? Because lots of what solo devs trying to do are quickly absorbed by OpenAI or Anthropic. I guess TLDR here is what's the mode of Juno? We're seeing a few other agents like this pop up. You have strong competition from very well-funded companies like Anthropic, OpenAI. You know, what's your big mode here, Tom?
Yeah, basically our moat is we're like technology agnostic. If you're doing something cool which enables Zero Human Companies across the stack of being an experienced dev all the way down to like a mom and pop who want to automate some work at a bakery, we want to basically provide those resources. So we're not competing with like a software or like an AI company. If Claude has like an amazing sub-agent workflow, we'll just teach it. We'll show you how to use it. We have the network or the community to teach it. Let's say when Paperclip came out a couple of days ago, which is the open source AI company builder, completely open source repo, did 10K or did 1 million views actually on the timeline. Like people who are in the ZHC Institute, the community, who want to learn how to use it. So we're kind of technology agnostic. If it enables people to build more autonomous systems to run companies, then we're in. We're not kind of really competing with anyone. If you believe in like zero human companies as a thesis, then that's kind of us.
Got it. Heavy Lifter says, I have a Web3 startup. How can I use EHC to get started? It's basically an OnlyFans for agents for context. I mean, maybe any feedback there.
Did not even exist.
Yeah.
How can you use EHC to get started? Okay, so how do you use EHC to get started? Okay, first of all, best thing to do is join the community, only because you're then going from, say, like me speaking at you to 170 other people figuring out the exact same question right now, all using different setups, all using different models, using different tech, and you can just shoot the shit with them. Next thing would be to either set up an open claw, go to nebula.gg, tell it what you're trying to build, and then just set off a few tasks running.
Okay, well, I think that pretty much covers everything, Tom. You are a fascinating character. You're really on the cutting edge here of what's going on. I think, again, after checking those Google search terms, it shows how early we are. So really, really cool stuff, and we appreciate you coming on and just sharing some thoughts with us.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Best of luck,
and
man.
Shout out Ethan for putting JUNO on our radar on Friday. So appreciate it. I mean, it's performed great. It looks great. Your website's awesome. Good thesis.
You know, for the record, I think Tom and I were talking before Friday, but Ethan is definitely a big supporter.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
There
Ethan.
you go.
Thanks, man.
Shout out Dom. See you,
we
Tom.
got something good for you coming this week, so keep your eye out.
Perfect,
Awesome.
perfect. We'll be paying attention. All right, see you, Tom.
See you later. Bye.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay.
Wild.